I think what I think bottom line for us, and I think the overwhelming number of Kenyans, is that the explanation given on the utilization of the Eurobond is far from sufficient. And there are two opinions here. And the government will say that the numbers do add up. But we also have economists like David Ndii, Kwame, who also have been giving us analysis after analysis, day in, day out, of the fact that the numbers just don't add up. Some of us are not economists per se in the stricter sense of the word, but we read and we understand. The basic education we have in terms of the education we have allows us to comprehend some of these complex issues. So when the figures don't add up, the balance sheets don't add up, and as you put it, in fact you took away that statement from my mouth in terms of your line of questioning, is a government must be able to say, once there was an allegation by the controller of budget, the money from Eurobond was not banked, or was banked in private accounts, and stuff of that nature, the government should have come in immediately and disputed that. You then, I think then she withdraws her statement under duress or whatever kind of undue influence that there was at that point in time. And that's why we're trying even to weaken some of these institutions, including the institution of the Auditor General, because you don't want these hard questions to be borne to you, so that you can be able to have the Halake type of ESSA that can investigate and simply give you a clean bill of health. Mm-hmm. So I think the entire narrative by government just doesn't add up.
Irungu Kangata, as part of Jubilee, will we ever get to a point, politically speaking, when there are issues and gaping questions that are being asked, where we can admit and say, look, as government, we've actually made a mistake? Because in the case of Eurobond, it's taking very long for Kenyans to actually see the facts and figures from the government end. We have the opposition giving the facts and figures according to them, which of course government will come out and say, no, those are wrong. But can we get the correct figures?
Yes, indeed. The kind of information that the government is giving, to the best of my knowledge, it is the correct information. Why do I say so? One, we did challenge Raila Odinga, together with the so-called Dr. Ndii, with the so-called Mr. Owino, to come and visit the government offices on a certain date. They see the papers, they see the transactions, and if they can prove.
But why is it so difficult for those transactions and those papers to be published so that everybody has no doubt whatsoever?
No, the documents have been published. When you go to the website of Treasury, you'll see those documents. When you look at various newspapers, I think from last week, even today, to the best of my knowledge, the government has been publishing that information. And the information is very simple. When that so-called 250-something billion was obtained, the government did three things. One, part of that money was used to pay a syndicated loan. Two, part of that money was credited in a CBK account. Three, part of that money was taken directly to an account of National Treasury. And that information has been given. It is there in the website. It is there in today's newspaper. Raila Odinga did not take the opportunity to present himself either before the EACC or before the National Treasury Office to come and see those documents. Now, instead of doing that, what is he doing? He is going to mention people who we all know they are clearly innocent. I'm going to give you one good example. One of the person who was named there is this Mr. Mohamed Nyaoga. By the time this transaction was happening, Mohamed Nyaoga was not even in the central bank at all. He was not there. So surely, for a leader of the so-called the biggest party of Kenya to make an allegation against a person who was not even there that time, without even verifying simple facts, it shows that indeed he is operating from a platform of rumors and conjecture.
Okay. Be as it may, some of the things he highlighted through the expert that gave the report was some of the questions raised between the time the money is deposited, the time it exits an account, the time that it is signed for. There are some silent areas. Why not just come out and say these silent areas are because of A, B, C, D?
No, we have explained. We have explained. In fact, you see, the problem is some of the so-called experts, they do not know how international transactions occur. Because we have the so-called conversions of money. When you have, let's say, for instance, you get $1 in America, when you bring it here, there is something we call a conversion. All those international trades transactions, to the so-called experts who are providing advice to Mr. Raila Odinga, they may not understand. So in actual sense, don't believe what they are saying, because there are people who don't even want to confront evidence. If there were people with good heart, they would have gone to the National Treasury with the so-called experts, and then we see a debate between CORD and his experts, and National Treasury and the experts. And then at least from there we could be saying this is fair. But then again, when you make an allegation and you don't even want to confront the other side, what does that tell us?